Giggs. Still Giggs. Brilliantly done.
Maybe Old Trafford didn't host a league championship celebration party, but the cupboard is far from bare. 3 team trophies, British success in the Rumbelows Cup, foreign success in the European Super Cup, and the FA Youth Cup winning team provide a healthy future. Rewards as well for individuals. Gary Pallister, Player of the Year. Ryan Giggs, Young Player of the Year. And Mark Hughes, again in the First Division representative side. 3 of the best in Britain. Behind them, Peter Schmeichel, European Championship winner with Denmark. What does it mean to be the best in the world?
More pressure. No, I mean, I won't let it mean anything to me. In 10 years' time, I can look back and say, well, that's a trophy. You were named world's #1 in 1992, but at the moment, I can't go around thinking about that.
DION Dublin was the only summer signing of '92. A new centre-forward meant an existing one had to leave. Mark Robins was an instant hit at Norwich City. Another valuable squad player, Mal Donaghy, was allowed to go to Chelsea. Changes off the field as well. One of football's most famous terraces is soon to be a seat of learning for United fans. The Stretford end, which has helped demolish the spirits of opponents, has been demolished itself. A place of inspiration that stirred United to some memorable victories. Some of the greatest ever goals have been scored within a wintry breath of United's most ardent followers.
Right side, Stapleton! 2 goals in 2 minutes. It's a glorious night for Manchester United. Here's Macari again for Stapleton.
The disappointment of last term forgotten, there was an air of expectancy for the first game of the season, but Christmas was to come early for Sheffield United.
First test for McCleary, and he loses out to Hughes, who had a chance for the shot and delayed. And here's McClare. Ferguson, taken by McClare. Kanchelskis to his right. Switch would find Hughes in the inside left position. Ferguson now square, number 5. Giggs makes the early run, tries to get in behind the defence, and succeeds. And the challenge wasn't a good one. And McClare across the face. And 1 or 2 Manchester United players, not unreasonably, asking about that challenge by the goalkeeper on Giggs. Must say it looked a bit suspect to me. But he got away with it, Simon Tracy. It's going off the post. Goodness me. John Gannon. Good turn. And a mistake by Bruce. This is Alan Cork. And the referee says penalty. It was an untidy challenge on Cork. Dane scores with Consumides. It's well done by Carl Bradshaw. And the long clearance, and McCleary in trouble, and Hughes scores. Long clearance from Peter Schmeichel, and McCleary in trouble trying to get the ball in the air, and Hughes gets the left foot on it, and it's 2-1.
A rumpus about Alex Ferguson's least favourite referee, Brian Hill, and United were off to a bad start at Bramall Lane. Back at Old Trafford, another new development, the ground control room, resembling an Apollo Space Control Centre. Police and club officials can keep tabs on developments inside, outside, and within the nooks and crannies of the ground. Modern technology monitoring the whole area, giving queuing fans an idea of where to avoid and where to go. High-tech, long-range TV equipment, coupled with good old bird-watching techniques. The first fans to be observed were Everton's, but it was the strikers who needed the close attention. Giggs has space. Everton start to come back in numbers. An early cross though from Giggs. Hughes is there, good shot from Hughes, good save from Southall. 3 Welshmen combining, but the Everton keeper making a very good save. Heads go up. Azika has a chance to counter-attack the long ball. Now has Beardsley got the legs? He's behind the United defence. Beardsley against Schmeichel. Everton are ahead. A minute to go to half-time. And that's the tonic Everton want. Kanchelskis takes it well in his path. Oh, a shot, but a good save again from Neville Southall. Earning his money tonight, the Welshman. Giggs through ball. What a good pass though to Clayton Blackmore. He's having to check back. Across the area, Hughes misses it. Another fine save from Southall. There's no beating this man. Southall stays on his line. McClare back to goal. He's looking for support. He's not getting an awful lot. And Everton clear the danger again. Here's a chance of another counter-attack. Beardsley to Bazika. He keeps going the pole. Good control. Well, he's teasing Pallister and he scores! The Beardsley-Bazika partnership works again, and Peter Schmeichel has reason to look disappointed. Ferguson brings the ball forward. He keeps going. Chance for a shot. Decides against it. Here's Hughes. But the Welshman beaten by Neville Southall again. Kanchelskis. Ferguson's control lets him down. Berger is just going to have to clear the ball, just a minute to go. Schmeichel's out of his box. He's quite literally out of his box. This is dangerous. The first real touch for Maurice Johnston. And that could be the final kick of the game.
Defensively, we've been very, very laxed, making basic errors and positioning for our own set pieces, like it's a free kick right in half time or actually into injury time, and we left no one at the back of the halfway line. Everyone charged forward into the box and we lose a goal from it, which is absolutely incredible. And I have to say the 5 goals we've lost, really, we're all down to our own errors.
Disappointment at 2 games and 5 goals conceded. Last season, it had taken 14 games to let in that number.
The goal we gave away, the first one the other day, was something what you give away as a schoolboy. So, I mean, we didn't even have to work on that. We knew what we did. We just, you can't leave somebody standing on the halfway line when you're attacking, and that's what we did. And unfortunately, we were punished for it, and then we were always chasing the game.
Fergie's bottom, disclosed the press, and they weren't talking about royalty. Next up, Ipswich Town, still on a high after winning promotion from the 2nd Division.
Well, it's a searching ball and Giggs on the chase and McClare on the chase as well. Brian McClare looking for the right option and Giggs went in and Walk just seemed to impede him a little, and I think that's what McClare's saying. Best of balls and comfortable for Peter Schmeichel, who immediately looks to get United going again. Aim for Kanchelskis, and Kanchelskis trying to make something of it. Linesman's flagging, but presumably in United's favour. Here's Kanchelskis. All the way and flashing by the upright. Good effort. Pushing men forward, Thompson. Oh, and it's suddenly broke for Kiwomya, and Chris Kiwomya has opened the scoring. 1-0. Claire, the ball, asking Kanchelskis to chase, and he'll always do that. Ever willing, it's not a bad ball in. Owen! Wallop! And within a minute, United are level. And the fullback getting forward just set himself up. And when he hit it, it was a true strike. Giggs with a corner. Bruce Hughes in there first, and just over the top. Either Bruce or Hughes could have got that one. Ferguson challenging Goddard and coming out the better. Here's Giggs. Doing beautifully there to lose Goddard. McClare asking Giggs to chase, and Giggs will do so, and Forrest in the way. Goddard's corner. Schmeichel's comfortable catch, and he's off again, setting Kanchelskis away. Andrei Kanchelskis hasn't got any support, will have to go alone. Doesn't mind doing that. Kanchelskis! The finish not there.
I think it was the wingers who really missed the chances today, you know. The great openings they get in through the work of strikers and midfield players, it all seemed to fall to them. And then maybe that's we're going through a period with the shots that are chances and all land into Brian McClare's feet, or maybe Mark Hughes or one of the midfield players.
Dion Dublin had appeared for just 3 minutes against Ipswich. It was time to unveil the £1 million signing. He'd first taken the eye, scoring against United in last season's League Cup. Then he probably didn't dream he'd be playing for the Reds 9 months later.
Yeah, it's always a good experience for us. You know, we've played a few top teams now, and playing the best in the land, you know, it gives you a few shivers up your spine, like. What can I say? It's tremendous, really. You know, Alex showed me around, and you know, I felt a bit overawed at first, but I feel quite relaxed now. I've met some of the players, and I feel quite comfortable. I'm going to enjoy it here.
He was given his full debut on a wet Monday night in Southampton. The new man was given a shirt bearing the number 7, a number 7 made in heaven.
Dion Dublin. Well, he's been only substitute so far, but the United fans were calling his name, wanted him to come on against Ipswich at the weekend. Well, here's his chance. Now, it's for Manchester United. United with a lot of men breaking forward here. One of them is Hughes, another one of is McClare, and just as well, Tim Flowers was out quickly. Good goalkeeping, Dublin. That's a good ball, very good ball from Dublin. His best touch yet. Fine Giggs, who looks to spread it again, are on a broad canvas from United, and Hughes, now that would have been a superb goal. Here's Jeff Kenner. And Dixon, is he onside? He is, and Dixon! Well, that was close to being his first ever goal for Southampton. Here's Darren Ferguson. And the boss's son pulls something out of the hat for Dad. He's not scored for Manchester United yet, the 20-year-old. This fellow has. Hughes still bursting through, still Hughes. Lovely trickery from him, and he couldn't quite chip it up. Dublin was waiting in the middle, so was McClare, so was Giggs. But lovely play from Hughes. Hughes, McClare, Ferguson was breaking forward in the middle. Now Ince. Oh, and here's Darren Ferguson with a chance for his first goal for United. And Flowers got his fingertips to it. That's Ferguson making tactical adjustments. Brian Kidd there on his right. United free kick. Now Ferguson can in-swing this, naturally left-footed player. Right at the death. Dion Dublin, the £1 million man, starts to repay the fee.
I think it's Gary Pallister who gets a little touch on it there. Hits Brian McClare on the shoulder, but he couldn't have placed it any better to Dion Dublin, could he?
There'd been Fergie's problems on the front and back pages of the papers. Dion took attention away from Alex and lifted the pressure off Mark Hughes and Brian McClare, who'd been under the microscope. Questions were being raised about their ability to score. Brian McClare doesn't feel he needs to answer questions from anyone other than the manager.
People that write in newspapers have got their opinions, and they're entitled to their opinions on games or on players or whatever. But I think if you're realistic, that it's really only the managers and assistant managers, coaches, your teammates, your family, whose opinions are the ones that should really count. There's not really much point in the newspaper on a Sunday or a Monday saying you were marvellous, you had a great game, and the manager not being too happy with you and not picking you for the next game or whatever.
People who play centre forward, to them the thing that matters the most is scoring goals. Is that the case with you?
I enjoy scoring goals. There's nothing better than football and scoring goals. I think that my role's changed differently from the time when I first came, where I was playing up front all the time. I've virtually moved all around, all over the midfield and up front. I think possibly the game's changed a little bit in that time as well, playing different systems. I mean, I enjoy playing up front, but I enjoy playing.
You've scored many vital goals for Manchester United. What are the goals that have meant the most to you?
Probably scoring at Wembley in the Rumbelows Cup. I think anybody's ambition is to play at Wembley in a A Cup final, and to have scored the winner is something that I'll always appreciate.
Pallister knocking it into McClare. The little touch for Giggs. He's away again. Little ball in play there for McClare again. A goal for Manchester United. Brian McClare, made by Ryan Giggs.
Brian McClare's goal at Wembley brought to Old Trafford one of the few trophies United hadn't won. Beaten finalist Nottingham Forest, the next Premier League opponents. Football's King of England, Brian Clough, was finding life as a Royal hard to stomach. A little casual in the Nottingham Forest defence. Ince's won the ball and he's found himself in with a chance. Saved by Crossley, it's falling to Hughes. And it's there. Ince did all of the hard work and Mark Hughes drilled the ball in. A very good initial save from Crossley. And Hughes from, 25 yards, found his way through a sea of legs. Oh, and another back pass goes astray. Here's Giggs. Is the angle good enough for him? Not quite, and Pearce gets it off the line. Aimed forward. Again, a bad clearance from Nottingham Forest. Ince wide. 3 to aim for in the middle. One of those is Giggs, and you don't expect him to score headers. Well, it shows that the young man has got everything. Paul Ince had a part in both goals and was on top form. His country called him up. A replacement for Brian Robson at club and international level.
I don't tend to say I come here to place Brian Robson. I come as Paul Ince, and if the press want to say I'm the new Brian Robson, that's down to them. But obviously some qualities of his game I've got, but his scoring ability is obviously a lot better than mine.
A lot's been made of that. What is it with you in scoring goals?
I don't know, honestly. I feel like that when I'm shooting, I think at the post will just go wide, and then you get someone else who's shooting it at the post and come off the keeper and go, and things like that happen. And I think it's just a case of just getting my confidence going. I think that last year I got a couple against Norwich, and I thought then that I could score every game. Obviously I didn't, but I thought that way. And this year it's just a case of getting 1 or 2, and obviously I can carry on scoring from then.
Paul Ince doesn't score very often, but when he does, he makes them spectacular. His celebratory dance routine came out of mothballs at Norwich last season. His first was a firework, the second a rocket. The crafty Cockney was actually a United fan as a boy. Favourite player Brian Greenough. The admiration's mutual.
Martin and Greenough.
Last year I think he showed a lot of maturity, and I think that helped by playing alongside Brian Robson. And then when Brian's not playing, Paul has to take the centre stage on his own, and to me he's handled it excellently, and his form this year looks exceptional.
Another old boy and former teammate of Greenough was the next manager to bring a team to Old Trafford, Steve Coppell.
It's Coppell who strikes it and scores! Coppell now on the right, taking on Ratcliffe. Still Coppell, beautifully done, brilliant goal.
Steve Coppell, the player, used to set the stadium alight. As a manager, the plan was to turn out the lights.
Brian McClare on the charge. Always looking up for the right ball, and Southgate was in there first. Here's Paul Ince. Tries the shot! Well, he met it firmly enough, but the accuracy not there. Ferguson to it. Irwin. Got a chance to get a good ball in. Hughes! Good challenge from Young. Armstrong. Bruce in strongly. Osborne. Thomas. Solarco. First time he's really been in the game, John Solarco, and he's not done badly, has he? Armstrong, good save, great save from Schmeichel, in fact. Tipping it over. Solarco. Pallister away. Here's McClare. Into Dublin. And Young win with a hefty challenge, and Dublin in some pain there. Well, there's a lot of concern there, I think. Ferguson round him, Ince, Bruce, they're all looking on, and Dublin looks in some discomfort, and Jim McGregor out there to see what the damage is. It was a hefty challenge, and look at that immediate agony on the face of Dion Dublin. Brings in Giggs. Always a buzz when he gets the ball. And that's one of the reasons why, and Nigel Martin tipping it away at full stretch. Pallister. Hughes. Look for McClare. Wasn't quite there for him. Ince. Kanchelskis. Here's McClare. Brian McClare. Hughes, and they've got it! A minute from the end. Mark Hughes, look at the delight. And the stubborn Palace resistance broken right at the end by Mark Hughes.
Delight for Mark Hughes, his third goal of the season, but tinged with concern because of the tragedy for his new striking partner.
Well, Dion was going to give us another option, something that we haven't had for a while, a big man up front, and obviously I think it does help if you add a little bit under the cosh, you can still have the outlet of knocking big balls into the box and then try.
You know, into playing ways. It could be a long time. It's going to seem like a long time, but I'm going to just bide my time, and hopefully when I get back, I'll, you know, get back in the first team.
Lack of goals was a factor in losing the title race, and the injury robbed United of Dion's presence just before the first meeting of this season with Leeds.
I don't want to take anything away from Leeds, but in the end I think we more or less handed it to them on a plate. I mean, we'd done all the hard work during the season, and then towards the last couple of months, slowly we were giving it away, really.
Do you think Leeds United were a better team than Manchester United?
No, I don't think they were. I think we were the best team in the league last year, but circumstances, I mean, towards the last 5 or 6 games of the season, I think we had 4 in 7 or 8 days, and that's ridiculous, that.
Clayton Blackmore's spectacular goal was a highlight of the United Leeds meetings last season.
It's Blackmore again. Oh, he's found the range this time. Pick that out.
I'd just taken a free kick about 2 or 3 minutes before from the same spot, and I knew Webby fancied taking the free kick, but I thought, well, I know my range now, and I said I'd take it again, and flew in the top corner.
The most eagerly awaited rematch in Manchester. A Sunday afternoon dish as succulent as any roast. Such was the atmosphere, it was hardly noticed by now that the Stretford end was no more. The din of the terrace was spread to 3 sides of the ground, and the fans had something to shout about.
Blackmore. He was hoping that would drop over Newsom, and he anticipated it. Kanchelskis has gone inside him. Hughes and Ince, undetected. Paul Ince trying to get it across Lukic, one would suspect. Put it straight up to him. Ferguson. Here's Owen. Hughes held. Giggs was certainly all right. And Kanchelskis!
Right, the first real flash of Ryan Giggs. The most difficult cross, the outside of your foot, but he picks out Kanchelskis brilliantly.
Dennis Irwin is much admired throughout the game for the way he strikes a dead ball. Power. Sweep on it as well. Lukic didn't get there, it must be a goal. Bruce says that he got the touch. McClare was right in there as well. Goalkeeping error, 2-0.
But it's a great delivery of the corner. John Lukic makes nothing of it. And who reacts quickest? Steve Bruce.
Space in midfield for Manchester United. Needs committed numbers forward. Ferguson. Giggs. Oh, and straight from the Mark Hughes catalogue. Hughes has come down for him. He took a while to locate it, but once he did, it sped past Lukic, bottom of the post, the nearest of misses. Oh, it was well wide of Lukic's dive. He's still trying to get free at this free kick. Working on across the edge of the area, enabling Bruce to find him, and turning brilliantly, well held by Lukic. Another towering leap by Pallister. The player wondering, didn't look, but wondering whether Hughes might be in pursuit of a ball played over the top. Oh, speed! And Hughes can really cash in for Manchester United, but Lukic stuck out a leg.
Revenge was sweet. the greatest moment in United's short Premier League history. Steve Bruce leading United back into the pack. After lagging at the start of the race, they were now back up with the pace setters. Not quite neck and neck, but on the heels of the three leaders. The win against Leeds was a real flag day. Much had been made of the atmosphere, or supposedly the lack of it, but this wasn't evident. Tickets were hard to come by. Vantage points were at a premium. Everyone wanted a glimpse of United, no matter how distant. Meanwhile, brickies and chippies were hard at work creating a new £10 million Stretford end. Seats will be occupied this season, but when work finishes in the summer, 10,000 fans will be housed in the new stand. Back to this season and fresh from beating great Yorkshire rivals Leeds, it was bring on the Merseysiders, and again there was revenge to go for.
Owen, long ball over the top, Gibbs watches it, Watson makes the mistake, and I think a combination of keeper and centre-half preventing Giggs there. Pallister looking for support, push-up, shouts Southall, but they don't listen to him. Giggs is wide, and it takes something special to beat Southall. I suppose Giggs is something special, isn't he? Back to goal for Giggs. Good running between Hughes and McClare. He's one-on-one, and it's there. Mr. Cool, Brian McClare, 1-0. Well, it just showed his experience in that kind of situation, and he's given Manchester United the lead. Is surprisingly given a large amount of space to cut inside. A ball over the top. Johnston brings it down, and Schmeichel was in the right place at the right time. Everell gets forward. Not too often he gets into striking positions, and he tries a go. Not a bad effort either. Manhandling on Mark Hughes, but advantage given to United. Kanchelskis is through, and Kanchelskis is brought down by Neville Southall. No doubt about it. Southall came off his line, maybe didn't mean to get the man, but he got an unfair advantage. And revenge is sweet for Steve Bruce. A clean sheet and revenge for that defeat earlier in the season.
Another win, United looking again like championship contenders, and things were back to normal. Peter Schmeichel's fifth successive clean sheet. At Goodison, he was back to his best, a ground on which he produced one of his most magical saves. One of many for United and Denmark in the Premier League and international stages, but does he have a save which is most memorable?
I don't see it as best saves or worst saves. I see it as important saves. I think the first chance that Klinsmann had was maybe the most important save I've made in my whole career.
They've been behind before in this tournament, the Germans. Of course, they lost to Holland. They were behind in their opening game against CIS.
Klinsmann, a shot, a great save, a fabulous save by Schmeichel. He just stretched himself out when Klinsmann's shot looked as though it was destined to go just inside the far post and just pushed it round the post.
Any player should really experience that we had with Denmark in the summer. Just going over there, playing, really playing for fun, playing for the pleasure, and then winning the lot in the end. That was just a tremendous experience.
The great Dane was to miss out under the foreigner restriction rule when TORPEDO Moscow came to town. Gary Walsh took over. Lee Martin had a rare game. Danny Wallace started his first match of the season, as did Neil Webb. Anticipation and spirits were high with the memory of Rotterdam.
Even talking to Brian Robson and all the success he's had in his career, I think he'd put it down as probably the pinnacle of it. It was a superb night, the game, the atmosphere, the night afterwards, everything was just first class, and I think if you asked anybody who was a member of that side on the night would say the same.
United's 100th game in Europe, having never lost at home.
This is Blackmore. Pallister had remained forward from the preceding corner. Wallace did well to get it back into Hughes.
That's a good turn by Hughes and Webb. Stay out. Yes, certainly the likes of Webb and Wallace have got a lot to prove tonight. And here is Wallace. That's a great run by Wallace. And the shot at the end of it, straight into the goalkeeper's midriff in the end. Manchester United's throw. Shishtikov was replacing a divot as the ball was thrown over him. A bit too gentlemanly. A good ball. And, oh! It looked odds on a goal for Brian McClair. Great long ball from Blackmore. The goalkeeper, Podchevalov, with a good firm punch clear. Back in it comes again, though. Pallister with the flick on. Wallace is there! Oh, great save by Podchevalov. Frustration for Danny Wallace, but the captain and goalkeeper produced the save of the night.
Well, we just said in the first half it was unlikely that Wallace would score a header, but that was a terrific header and a marvellous save.
Pallister getting up, and Hughes! Well, it's been a night of so near and yet so far away for Manchester United so far. Wallace free on the left. Now he gets it. The crowd wanted to attack the defender, but he whips in a useful-looking cross, and the goalkeeper allowing his defender to get there ahead of him. Here's Wallace again, and pulled back neatly to Hughes, and again Hughes just fails to beat Podchevalov from close range.
Chances wasted, disappointment was evident. No one particularly relished going to Russia with no advantage for the second leg. It was only the third goalless draw in 36 years of European competition at Old Trafford. Stories filed in United's new state-of-the-art press room were all about £4 a week Muscovites humbling Europe's greatest. Torpedo coach Yuri Zolotov's delight really didn't need interpretation. The plush auditorium opened this season shows how football's moving on. Up to 50 journalists sit in comfort, typewriters a thing of the past, not so much hacks as computer hackers these days. Another example of development at Old Trafford. Towards the end of the match, evidence of more development, youth development. Gary Neville, one of youth coach Eric Harrison's faces of the future. A crop of talent ripening, winning the coveted FA Youth Cup for the first time since 1964. That last team included Best, Aston, Sadler and Rimmer, famous names who went on to become fully fledged Red Devils.
By Cutler and McPherson. Well, what a start for Palace, silencing United. Davis, super ball. Here's Ben Thornley looking up for support. Might go alone. Does go alone. Super finish. 1-1. Switzer opening up a little for Switzer. 1-2 with Davis. He's got the strength. Good save, but it'll come back, and Davis, and surely now United have won the cup. Thompson, they're not giving up, are they, Palace? And oh, it'll break for Thompson. Super finish, 2-2, but still they're behind aggregate. Rolling towards Bartol, brilliant. Super save, but the credit for Nicky Butt. And I think he enjoyed that, and he's got every right to say he enjoyed that. Brilliant effort. Thornley, Giggs, McKee, lovely goal, and that will be that. Surely now the Youth Cup belongs to Manchester United.
One of the first things the boss did was the youth policy again, which Manchester United was synonymous with Sir Matt Busby. He believed in it and the boss believes in it. And there again, when I went to speak to parents in that, I knew I was speaking from the top. You know, that was the boss. So it was, there again, it was great because you knew the boss believed in it. So it was easy for when you're at the bottom end of the scale, when you're speaking to parents and kids. Because you know you're not telling them lies, and it's a policy which the boss has brought to the club, and he believes in it. It's not cosmetic.
Is there such a thing as a master plan for a manager at Manchester United?
I don't think you have a master plan because it can change instantly. 1 minute you're on one direction, something will happen, you have to change direction. But what I do think, in terms of the overall picture of the club, and we have a vision of what we want, and that is that we have 69 players at the present. Out of that 69 players, we have only 15 players over 24 in the whole club. So it tells you it's a very, very young club, and that's directly through our own participation in young players, increasing the scouting, increasing their youth coaching, that we've got to a position now of real strength at the young level.
It can save you a lot of money as well, can't it, if you develop your own players?
Well, I look away from the money side of it. I look at the bringing up your own players, where you get the satisfaction of seeing them start off as little kids at 13, 14, and you see them growing, and then you see them mature, and they come into the first team for their first game, and then they get their first medal, and they see them score their first goal, and they get picked for the international teams, and that is enormous satisfaction. You know, you can't buy that.
The shining example is Cup-winning youth team captain Ryan Giggs. He's proved that the transition can be made, an exceptional talent, as Spurs found out.
Here's Sheringham, and still Sheringham. Good block by Pallister. Blackmore. Ince. And the shot had to come, and it produced a very good save. Pallister forward again. Just comfortably into the arms of the goalkeeper from Hughes. Right on the stroke of half-time. A goal taken with real class. Inside the challenge of Austin, who maybe hadn't recovered, away from the goalkeeper. Nothing was going to stop him. Goalkeeper did all he could. But the finish was exquisite. Great. Better from Tottenham. There were signs just at the end of the first half. And Jury has made it 1-1. Good attack from Spurs.
United conceded the first goal in 7 games, but it wasn't the Spurs goal which attracted the headlines.
I think Peter Schmeichel kicked the ball out with one of his long kicks, and then I think the right back Dean Austin, he just chested it down and slipped, so I just thought I could get in there and pushed it past the last defender and then round the keeper. But I thought I'd pushed it too far, so I had to keep the shot hard and low, so I managed to get a score goal.
You made your debut a couple of years ago against Everton. At that stage, did you think you were going to make such the impact that you have done?
No, I made 2 appearances that season, and I just thought the remaining last season, I just thought I'd make another couple of appearances because Lee Sharp was doing so well. But he got injured, and I managed to get a regular place in the first team.
Did you think at the time that you were just a little bit behind Lee Sharp and waiting for him maybe to come out of the team to get your opportunity?
Yeah, Lee had a really good season and was voted young player of the year. And I thought it'd be another couple of years if I was going to get left wing. It'd be another couple of years yet when I got bigger and stronger, and maybe I could get a couple of games centre forward, or if Lee was being rested, I could get a game. But unluckily for Lee, he got injured. But luckily for me, it worked out well.
When you got into the side, did you personally think you were ready to play for the first team?
Not really. I always thought it was really fast. Coming from the reserves to the first team, it's a big step forward. So I never really realised that. I never thought I'd get a regular place.
Inevitably, Giggs is being compared with you-know-who.
Where's my number? He plays for Manchester United. He's got terrific skill. He really has. He's going to be a great player. So he's obviously going to have to suffer, I suppose, if that's the word, in the comparison. He's got so much confidence in his own ability. I mean, he's just... This is pure class, and he takes it around. And you know that I said goal before he went round him. And that finish, I mean, that's such world class.
Now, as a United fan, when you were a youngster, you probably don't even remember George Best, this man you keep getting compared to, do you?
No, I don't really. I've just seen videos of him, and other people saying what a great player he was, and I don't think it's fair on him that they're comparing him with me. So I just try and get on with my game.
How much does that affect you, or does it affect you at all?
It doesn't really affect me.
Comparing to a man from 20 years ago.
Yeah, it doesn't really affect me. George is a great player, and if I've got half his skill, then I'd be happy.
Comparisons to Best Lee Sharp had to put up with 2 years ago. Since, though, it's been a frustrating 18 months.
That sums it up, really. Very frustrating. You know, I tried to come back 2 or 3 times with my groin last season, and then I was working myself pre-season this year to try and get ahead of the lads, really. Only to do 2 days and be struck down with the meningitis thing.
I know you're getting quite well with Ryan Giggs. How difficult is it watching him running up and down the left wing when you're in the stand?
He's all right. He's just keeping my shirt warm for me. He wants to play centre forward, really, Ryan. Don't you, Ryan?
Is that what you think? I mean, you're going to offer him a challenge, though, as your mate, are you? You want to play back on that left wing? And
oh, definitely, yeah. You know, that's all the manager's decision. I mean, off the park, we're still mates and everything, so, you know, that shouldn't affect things.
Is there space for the two of you in the United side?
Oh, I think so. That's the manager.
The return to full fitness for Lee will be like signing a multi-million-pound player.
What a half it's been for United. Winterburn doing just enough. Sharp pinching it back from Dixon. It's a beauty! It's raining goals at Highbury. Hughes rode the foul tackle. Set up Owen again. Great cross. Sharp. Great goal. Still United going forward in search of more. Lee Sharp. Hat-trick hunting. He just won't believe this night is happening to him.
Sharp's triple at Highbury took the club to the 1990 League Cup final. This year's Coca-Cola Cup trail began at Brighton. Yet again, Gary Walsh was to earn his stripes, this time against the shoulder-to-thigh stripes.
Kennedy. Codner. Hit with a lot of strength there and required an excellent save from Gary Walsh. Webb again. Hughes. Clear, the back heel. Oh, and it went off the post. Edwards this time sweeping it on the far side to Crumplin, who's got Chivers outside him and plenty of blue and white shirts up. Oh, and Wilkins was in there. He made a terrific run for that. But sadly for Brighton, just couldn't find the header on target at the end. Otherwise, that was definitely a 1-0 situation. Kanchelskis causing problems now. Kanchelskis, it's trying to half volley it in. Owen with the outside of the boot, flicking a lovely ball out there for Danny Wallace. Wallace on the turn! A fabulous goal by Danny Wallace. And Manchester United get a 1-0 lead. The ball flicked wide to the left. Wallace turning inside Crumplin and letting fly beyond the outstretched arms of Beanie. Wallace springing quickly onto the scene there. McClare alongside him. Hughes as well. Here's McClare. Hit straight at the keeper though. And Beanie did well there. Webb, the little chip. Oh, a wonderful piece of goalkeeping by Beanie. And great thinking by Webb as well. Webb, where's he going? Oh, a dangerous game for Webb. Kennedy. Super save by Walsh. What a mistake by Webb. The United defenders rounding on him. Codner. Lovely ball played there for Chapman. And a good cross by him. And it's in there by Edwards. Webb to Mark Hughes. Foster getting his challenge in, but not very convincingly. Webb again, floating it towards McClare. And Hughes! A whisker away from a winner right at the end there for Mark Hughes and Manchester United.
Brian Robson was nearing full rehabilitation. A comeback was imminent in the A-team. The captain showing the same effort for the juniors as he'd shown for England and Manchester United in many important games. Crucial goals.
Robson reflecting the confidence in Manchester United's display. So too Moses, and the referee quick to make sure that he could avoid any tangle with Mann. Muren. Robson wants it early. Brilliant goal! Augustin, Kane winning his private duel with Chamberlain, and it might have set something here with Whiteside freeing Robson, and the finish is exemplary. Now Duxbury, only Stapleton up with him. Duxbury prepared to go it alone. Stapleton acting as the decoy, and now Robson. Still Robson.
Corner's aimed towards Bruce. Can't get there, and Brian Robson! Superbly struck!
Brian Robson, an inspiration on the field and away from football as well. The former England leader has put his name and dedicated his time to a scanner appeal. With Brian's influence, the target of £1.5 million will soon be reached. At Brighton, United had come up against a famous name, Wilkins, Dean Wilkins. Against Queen's Park Rangers, they were to come up against his brother Ray, a United past master and past master, hero of Clayton Blackmore.
One of them was Ray Wilkins, because he just signed when I signed. And like I said, I went to Chelsea 6 times, and he was at Chelsea at the time. And I always remember the first thing he said to me when I was sat in the changing rooms. He came up to me and goes, "I think you made the right decision signing for United now." And I mean, I've watched him, and he's probably one of the best footballers I've seen. And he's a great person to be with and all.
Wilkins back at Old Trafford, and also Peter Schmeichel. Gary Walsh had done well, but with the Dane between the posts, Alex Ferguson not only had a goalkeeper, but with his excellent distribution, a secret weapon.
Maddox missed that. This is McClare. Back again to Hughes. Good save. Nothing wrong with the move at all. Beautifully done between Hughes and McClare. Clayton Blackmore. McClare, Hughes. Oh, Ince made something of it. And Hughes may make more of it. Throw by Schmeichel picks out Brian McClare. He's got Kanchelskis chugging up behind him, overtaking him now. He's more than chugging, he's really moving, Kanchelskis. Hughes is in the centre waiting. It's just too long for him. He was stretching as far as he could. He finished up in the net, but the ball didn't. Kanchelskis covered 3/4 of the pitch there to set up what he thought would be a chance for Hughes. There's Penrice. Oh, here's Impey. And Penrice, oh, what a fine save. Well, 2 things about that. It was the right thing for Penrice to do from where he was. It was a terrific save by Schmeichel. What he wasn't to know was that if he could have just slid the ball across the goal, Simon Barker had an open net, but that's history now. Great shot, fine save.
The best goalkeeper in the world and one of the best centre-back pairings in Britain, Gary Pallister. Alongside him, Steve Bruce. A perfect working relationship. But how do they relate away from work?
I totally dislike him. No. I think we probably get better off the field than we do on the field. If you notice during the games, I think it keeps us both going. We both tend to shout a bit at each other, but...
Was there a stage or a game where you could maybe pinpoint, where you thought, well, that's it, we're beginning to understand each other, we're beginning to gel?
I don't think you can probably pinpoint a game. I mean, obviously it takes a little bit of time. I suppose a lot of people have said that after the Leeds games last year, when we knew that we were under the emphasis obviously was on the defensive side of it. And them games were highlighted a bit, and obviously the big fella played out of his skin in them 3 games. So I think them games obviously helped us, and then everybody's jumped on the bandwagon as if to say, you know, the partnerships come on leaps and bounds.
Do you have little roles that you sort out for each other? Say, right, you're going to go for this one, I'm going to go for that one, and you both know who's going to do what?
I think that comes naturally just with the understanding. You know, as the game progresses, you can't set any one thing out. You just got to play as the game comes to you. And like I was saying at the beginning, I mean, I played a totally different game at the back with Middlesbrough, and then I did when I came to United, and it took a wee bit of time to get things sorted out. But it's just a matter of getting to understand the type of player that Steve is, him understanding what type of player I am, and you know, knowing what the other's going to do. And thankfully, we've eventually got that off to the key.
There's a strong shout for the pair of you to play together in the England side. I mean, you've obviously been in the England squad. What about your partner?
No chance. Yeah, sure. You know, it seems to be over the last season or the last few months, a lot of people have been plugging for Steve, and I'd certainly lay claims for him as well. He's been superb in the Manchester United defence. Not only that, as a captain as well. And one thing you certainly need in a team is leaders, and Steve does possess some qualities.
Steve Bruce's leadership qualities were tested in Moscow, where another leader came off the bench and nearly won the game in his first appearance of the season.
Giggs making a run again down the left, pulls it back towards Ince, and a good layoff, or was it? Not yet. He finally does lay it off Webb, and Webb ran into the crowd of defenders, but it breaks for Giggs. Whipped in again, and the goalkeeper and McClare almost punished him for the handling error. Robson has to score, or United are out of Europe. And he scores! He's missed it! Puchivalo has made the save. Torpedo Moscow can't believe it.
Gary Pallister missed the penalty, and Europe will miss United's presence. The highlight for many foreign fans is a trip to the old Lancashire Palace, and like any stately home, souvenirs are aplenty. The club shop matches any in the world. Visitors plan to spend as long browsing mementos as they do taking in the game. The new superstore is thriving. Manchester United are an international force. You'll see the red shirts from Moss Side, Manchester to Marbella, Mallorca, Moscow, and who knows one day on the moon. The fashion conscious know a good thing when they see one. The new kit has captured their imagination. A marriage of the biggest club and Umbro, the biggest kit manufacturer.
I think it's one of those things when you're abroad that if you ask anybody to name a British football club, I think Manchester United would get named 9 times out of 10.
The fashionable red shirts worn in Moscow, the natty blue for Borough. Leclerc, chip over the top. Now Giggs likes this kind of situation. They're keeping him wide though. There's a shot. And a good save by the goalkeeper, Ian Ironside. Ince, plenty of blue shirts forward, but Ince tries a shot, and again Ironside is behind it. He's having a good game, this goalkeeper. Ince is at the thick of everything at the moment. I think he ran into a couple of puddles there, but United fight their way through it. Airwin's in the area, and Gittins brings him down. He slides off the field. When he recovers, you'll realise that he's got a penalty. An untimely tackle from Gittins. Steve Bruce, can he put Moscow behind him? He has. He's made it in Middlesbrough. 1-0. Flick on from Wilkinson. Falls to Slave, and he's missed one, but he scored one. It wasn't a good week for Mark Hughes. Sent off in Moscow, taken off in Middlesbrough. Some give Sparky a hard time, but never the fans.
Yeah, it's well documented what this club means to me, and obviously the fans' treatment of me ever since I've come through the junior teams and got into the first team. It's been unbelievable, really, and obviously that was the major decision when it came to deciding whether or not to come back to Britain or stay abroad. The fact that it was Manchester United that come in for me, and the fact that the fans were phoning in and saying please come back was a major factor in the decision to come back.
As you say, you've been here quite a long time, but you've got a long time ahead of you as well. Would you like to stay at United for the rest of your career?
Yes, I would. Obviously, like I say, everybody thinks I've been around a long time, but I still think I've got the best years to come.
You can't keep a good man down. Sparky was to be spectacular against Brighton.
Matt Edwards, Andy Kennedy. Well, it's opened up for him here. Good save from Schmeichel. Walker, and again Schmeichel falling in the opposite direction. Just managed to spoon it over the top. Parker. Brian Robson. Lovely ball towards McClare. Looping header off the bar. Hughes. 1-0. An instinctive waist-high volley. The rebound came towards him and he makes it look easy, doesn't he, from Mark Hughes. Owen's corner, Bruce's header off the bar. Pallister struck Wilkins, don't think he knew much about it. Parker. Nice ball, Kanchelskis, he's got round the back here. Hughes, score off the post, and again, and it's into the crowd.
After Brighton, a rare 11-day rest from domestic football, allowing the players time to refresh themselves for the date with the old enemy. Leeds may be the current Premier League team to beat. City provide that derby rivalry, but Liverpool games are the most intense, and Mark Hughes was to make the Merseyside faces go as green as the shirts.
And again. Hutchison. Oh, they're backing off him. And it came off Bruce, and it's ended up in the back of the net. And Liverpool have taken the lead. Rosenthal again. Back to him from Hutchison. Ronnie Rosenthal. Redknapp for the cutback. Rush! A moment of history for Ian Rush. Well, I must say, grounds have to be redeveloped, and anything that benefits the spectators has got to be encouraged, but it's not helping Manchester United not having that partisan population of the Stretford end. The end that they're attacking. Hughes, the end that they're scoring, are they? They are! 2-1.
He has a quick look, there it is, sees Bruce off his line and thinks, have some of that. Superb finishing.
Parker. Big finish for Manchester United. 2 in the last 10 minutes for Hughes.
And so, 2 months into the season, United had recovered from a shaky start and a European knockout to act as the only representative of football's so-called Big Five in the top 5 of the Premier League.
That's enough.
After 6 years at United, Alex has had far from enough. He's won his initial battles with the press. 5 trophies in 3 years show his influence at Old Trafford. He has a long way to go before he fully emulates the achievements of the grand old man, as he calls the great Sir Matt Busby. His book underlines how the chief of the Great Red Army has a hunger to add more achievements to his greatest moment so far, that night in Rotterdam.
What does it feel like?
Oh, it's magnificent. Look at that. That's what it's about. It's the club. It's what Manchester United's about. Winning the biggest things you can possibly win.
Europe conquered once, United want Britain next.